Alright, so have you ever just wanted to launch an axolotl, just really fling one of them into the sky? Because I have. That's actually the first thing I thought of when working on this video. So our first one is the Auto Axolotl Launcher. So I kind of just got lucky that this thing ended up looking exactly like an axolotl once it was all done, kind of like a little axolotl statue, and that's just the way we have to have the blocks for the redstone and stuff, but it looks just perfect. But anyway, we got this bubble column inside his belly that the axolotls are able to get into from the main pool, and then whenever they go in, they get whooshed up to the top, and then they activate our string, which activates the slime block pusher and launches them out of the mouth. It's pretty fun. And so pretty much the way this thing works is we got a tripwire hook going across the inside of the axolotl statue, and then that tripwire goes and activates the piston, which pushes all the slime. And the only other thing to really point out is that we have non-movable blocks, or at least non-sticky blocks all around it, so you could either use the glazed terracotta if you want to get a specific color, or just use any immovable block. Probably the easiest one to get in survival is just furnaces. Well, let's say the Auto Axolotl Launcher just isn't enough. You need to be able to do it on demand and launch a whole bunch of axolotls. Well, this next one is pretty perfect then. You just scoop up an axolotl in a bucket, load it into the chamber, and when you click the button, he goes flying. So that's pretty much it. The way that this one works is the button just activates both those pistons, the top one with a little bit more delay than the bottom one, to pretty much get the axolotl moving in the correct spots. And then if you build up the redstone just like this, you should get all the correct timings. And our next one is an axolotl roller coaster. So one way to do this also just real quick is you could just do it fully underwater, definitely no problems with that. But if you don't have a very big pool, you don't want to be filling it fully up with minecart tracks, so this one should be pretty perfect. We have a little bit of track in the water. That's so that way any axolotls in the water could be picked up and then brought onto our track, and then they go around for a bit. This track isn't too long, so they're not going to be out long enough to run out of water or anything like that. And when they make it back into the water, they go over an activated activator rail, which will kick them off the minecart and allow them to keep on swimming. So they pretty much just do their one lap and then they're able to get off. So then you can obviously build whatever roller coaster you want. I tried to build a pretty fun little compact one. We have a drop in it, quite a few turns, and some ups and downs. And all these builds so far have been super active and taxing on the little axolotls, so I wanted to build a nice little place for them to rest. So pretty much all I did is I made this little dirt and rock mound and kind of created a little cave, so those axolotls could go and hide in there and get out of the sun for a bit and have a nice little place to relax. I also thought it'd be cool to add in a exterior window to a little viewing lounge, so that's just another idea added on there. You could also use tinted glass if you don't want any of the light from the viewing lounge to reach in, but I think that the regular glass works the best for just being able to see in. And then don't forget to fill it in with a bunch of vegetation to give different places to hide, and just pretty much make it a nice little place for them to go. So this one doubles as both a nice pond decoration and a pretty fun little thing for the axolotls, and that is these bubble elevator palm trees. So pretty much it looks like a pretty normal palm tree, but as you can see in the center it is filled with water, and we're using trapdoors to kind of encase it. So inside the pond, those axolotls are able to get into the bubble stream, and then they get boosted right up to the top. And there's a trapdoor here to keep them from flying too high and taking fall damage. And then from there they have a pretty easy time getting back down into the water. Just make sure that these aren't too tall, because if they actually are too tall, the axolotls might not be able to pathfind back into the water, and you definitely want to be careful that you aren't stranding your axolotls up on a palm tree. And speaking of stranding your axolotls, we got this little kind of trap actually. It's this little island, and in the center of it is another bubble stream, so any axolotls that wander into that bubble stream will be boosted up to the top surface of the water, and then their only route back out of here is to crawl over the little nature area back into the water. So same thing with this one, make sure the land isn't too big so that way the axolotls can still pathfind back into the water. And I have had a few problems with having blocks on here and the axolotls getting stuck on them and suffocating, so this one is a little bit dangerous, but if you want to give them a nice little place to go on land and give them a little bit of time out of the water, this is definitely a pretty cool one. And pretty similar to that, we have a volcano. This one, same thing, got lots of bubble elevators. This one, a bubble elevator shoots them up to the top, and then we have a nice little waterfall going down it. It's also just really nice and decorative with the lava and a little naturey volcano. You could also add in some campfires if you want to add some extra smoke, would be pretty cool. but overall you could build this as big or as small as you want, and just give the axolotls a pretty fun thing to explore and go riding down. This next one is really fun and it makes it really interactive with the axolotls, and that's our little axolotl salon. So you could scoop up any of your axolotls from your pool, bring it over to the little cleaning station where you could plop them down. From there you could activate our first lever, which will coat the axolotl on a whole bunch of soap suds, and then you could activate the second one, which will wash him really well, and then you could scoop up your axolotl and bring it over to the warming and drying station, and you don't want to leave him in there too long and get a crispified axolotl, so make sure you're sitting around while he's in there. And then from that point we have another pond where you could heal up your axolotl, give him a little snack, and then move him on to our final little back massager. So one thing I definitely wanted to have on here is an axolotl feeder, because obviously we don't want these axolotls running around all day without anything to munch on. So this next one is an auto day feeder, where every single day it will dispense a bucket of fish into the pond so your axolotl could go and chomp on them, which is kind of not the best for a pond this big because your axolotls might be starving if you're only feeding them one fish a day for a whole bunch. So that's why I wanted to add in another feature where you could just click it automatically and dispense as many fish as you like. And this one's a bit more random than the rest, but here we have a full underwater house for our axolotls. We had a nice TV for them to watch and even a bathroom for them to go, and I figured there's probably no reason to add a shower in here since they're basically always in the water. And our very last room is my favorite with some nice decorations, and that's the bedroom. And here we have a few cool things. The first one is this note block light switch, where whenever you click on the note block you could turn on and off the lights. And we also got another note block here that will play them a really nice little bedtime tune, and then all you gotta do is play the tune, turn out the lights, and you let your axolotls go to bed. And so guys, that was our 12 axolotl builds filling up our whole pool. So if you liked any of them, leaving a like would be huge and really appreciated. And if you want to see future videos, definitely subscribe. But I won't keep you guys any longer. Thank you for watching.